started her own business because she wanted to be a more engaged mother with her children. And this mother is so awesome. And so she started a daycare initially from her home. She went from her home to a building facility, and now she has Lots of Learning Academy. I follow her kids on Instagram because they do fun stuff every day, and they are amazing, and those kids lift my spirit every day. I'm like, I'm liking and commenting on the kids. And so sometimes if I see them one day and I'll say, they have something to learn. And I mentioned Kim is one of the co-authors in the book that I'm also a co-author in, where she shares her story. She'll be having that book up front after we're done. But Kim is also a 3-time author. I don't know where she gets all the time to do these things. She runs her daycare mill now. She's transitioning from being the daycare life to her motivation life and her speaking life. And it's an amazing thing. And we're talking about women entrepreneurship and for her to get to the point of her business where she's retiring herself and she's handing off to the next generation of her family. That's what it blows my mind. But again, Kim, the reason I really want her is she's also one of the books that she wrote, Your Faith. And I remember talking to Kim about this book. And I think I was driving down, I did intending to call Kim, and we hadn't talked in a while, so I called Kim, and I was talking to her. She said, "Oh, you want to write this book?" And I said, Kim, Lord, like I do, you talk about it, have a book written, and you just have to do it together. Let me have you call my guy Darren, so he can get you on track, right? And she told me what she wanted the title of the book, Your Faith. And why she wanted that title. So I don't want to steal her story and let her tell you that. But again, the reason I wanted her to do this hard enough today is because she has an amazing heart and amazing spirit. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Kim Lutz. Wow. Thank you, Joyce, for that amazing introduction. I guess when you really look at your life and you don't really look at your accomplishment maybe the way someone else might look at it, you just go from day to day and just, you just live life and you just feel like, whatever you're doing because you're doing it either because you're servicing someone and you're just doing what it is that you know that's best to do. Even as being a single mom, I don't give myself credit for that. I don't give myself credit for that at all because I know it's the work of God that has really brought me through this. I've heard some amazing stories at my table, from divorce to being married to just a minute. And I was thinking, I said, well, Lord, I can't really relate on the marriage. I can't really relate on the divorce. But I can't relate on the women's side. I'm really honored to be a part of this event. When Joyce had first, asked me to let her know, I got to Google it. I read it. Yeah. But yes, I wasn't able to speak in the Bahamas for our first Women Entrepreneur event conference. It was amazing. Joyce is an amazing person, just all around. I mean, you have to know her to love her. She's the type of person that even if she don't have the answer, I promise you she's gonna get the answer. We were just talking on yesterday, and we were talking about the flight program of training them up. And I said, my crew not even working too good at my daycare. I said, colors coming all up and things are just not working. And she said, wait, I just met my baby. I love her today. And I think to myself, if she don't have it, she's going to get it. She's going to make sure you're well taken care of. And that's what sister empowerment is. That's when people who don't mind sharing information. Because even for myself, I ran through some hard times with even starting business. Just women that was in the same field that I was in, but It's just so selfish with the information. So when you meet a Joyce Johnson, you got to be grateful. You got to keep her because you don't find too many women that's willing to share information. So even for me, it was like, oh, yeah, just pray, just have faith. You got it. Well, I got faith. I just wanted a little more information so that I don't have to work as prophetess, okay, because I know God is going to bring me out. But Joyce, I really do appreciate this. I thank you. It's just something about being in a room with so many women. It just makes you feel different. No, shade to the men. Yes, the very supportive. We appreciate it all. It's just something about being in a room full of women, especially when it comes to empowerment, especially when it comes to leading, especially when it comes to demanding changes. It's something about that. And before I even go any further, because I'm excited, and I know how I get when I'm excited, I gotta slow myself down. But Joyce, I do appreciate this opportunity. I am so grateful for all of you in the room today. And my prayer is that when you leave out today, that you leave more fulfilled than you did when you walked in. And I always say that, even when it comes to just having events and just different things. And Joyce and I talk about that all the time, filling a room or whatever the case may be. And I always say, if we're able to even help one, we're doing God's work. And I truly believe in that. But before I continue, if you all would just bow your head, because I do want to pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for the women you have placed in this room on today. Thank you for the vision you have given Joyce to acknowledge and celebrate us for Women's History Month. God, please open every heart and mind to not only receive the knowledge and the wisdom from each speaker, but to also be gifted with the blessings you have prepared. Father, thank you for the seed that you have implanted in each of us to continue growth and prosperity over our business, family, and finances. Lord, you said when two are in agreement, whatever they ask will be done. And today, dear Father, we're standing in agreement that generational curses are broken, that our voices are continuing to be heard, and history remains in the making. God, thank you for creating us in the image of you, for no one is strong enough to do the things that we do. Lord, I truly believe when you said it's a time and season for everything, our season as women entrepreneurs has really flourished tremendously, but that we give you all the honor and all the praises. Please continue to multiply our equation as leaders and to be an example to many. For these blessings I'm asking in your name, Father. Amen. Amen. As I look around the room today, and as I even look around the world, I was thinking about me. Women and entrepreneurs have really taken over. We have really taken over. You guys should give yourself a pat on the back because we're doing our thing. We are doing our thing. There are so many bosses. There are so many women in leadership roles. There are so many women sitting in high seats, powerful seats. We even have a women vice president. Our kids, they might not remember some of the older history as Harry Tubman and Cicely Tyson and all of that, but they can remember our Michelle Obama. They can remember our Kamala Harris. They can relate because now they have something that they can look forward to. So when I think about things like that, I think about how far we've come. When we as women, we've been told what our place was, in the kitchen. Our place was in the bedroom. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But see, this right here is proving that we are women. That we're making changes. We're making history. We're doing just what it is that God has intended us to do. But for what others can see, God already had a plan. around this room and I'm seeing so many of you that's doing your thing, it just amazes me because I think about people that are in leadership roles, women that are in these hot seats. Like, what if they would have given up? What if they would have given up after someone told them they wasn't good enough? Or they wasn't smart enough? Or they just wasn't enough? What if they would have given up then? Where would they be? Where would they be? Would they be sitting in a position that they're in? Good question, huh? And I even think about myself. I said, through my struggles, through my pain, in 2009, I had lost my job. And if you all remember 2008, 2009, the economy was at its worst. People losing their jobs, also from being foreclosed on. A lot of things was happening at that time. And I too was affected during that time. And I got to thinking, I said, Lord, I said, here I am. I said, I have no money in the bank. I have 2 boys to raise. I said, where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? Not knowing that God was preparing me for something. Not knowing that He was preparing me for something. God said, Kim, you prayed on something years prior to this. You have been praying. He said, I'm only trying to answer your prayer. I said, God, you answer my prayer like this? The hardest time of my life? And I said, no money, no job, no nothing. I don't know how I'm going to pay my house, no. I'm living off unemployment. I said, God, you showing me down? He said, I'm showing you down. And I think about this even in 2020 when the COVID hit. We all live that busy life. Sometimes things have to happen for God to show you that you need to sit down and you need to still need to get close to me. Because I'm trying to prepare you. So during that time, during this crisis, I didn't realize that I was preparing you. He said, it's your time. I didn't know what he was meaning. I didn't understand what was happening. But the only thing that I kept hearing was, it's your time. So I said, well, Lord, well, this is my time. How am I going to break through this? I said, what am I getting ready to do? I said, I don't want to fail my kids. I don't want to fail my family. I said, because I've always been a strong woman. And I said, failing is not in me. He said, Kim, it's okay to pray though. You just got to trust the process. He said, you just got to believe in what I have for you. I said, well, God, here I am. I'm believing and I'm trusting in what you have for me. I said, after going through that, and I got to thinking about a lot of us. When things don't happen right when we want, we begin to give up. It's not about our time, it's about God's time. And I really was, contemplating, and I was really like wondering, what is he doing? Because I prayed over something some years ago, but why now? He said that prayer that you prayed when you said, by the time your oldest gets to middle school, you wanted to be working from home. That's right. I said I needed to be working from home. I said because as a single mother, I'm a single mother, but I didn't want the absolute. I didn't want the streets raising my kids. I said I need to be home. I don't care what it is that I have to do, but I need to be home by the time my oldest gets to middle school. God definitely prepared me for that. I went through all of that in 2009. I went through all of it. And anything that could have came up against me, I went through it. I was at my breaking point. But He was showing me I had to take you through it in order to bring you out of it. 2010, God blessed me with my home daycare. Same year that God blessed me with my home daycare, my youngest was going to middle school. I said, look at God. I said, this is nothing but God. But this is how you know when it's your time. Because When God starts putting everything in place and things begin to work itself out, you know that it's your time. And see, a lot of us get so discouraged behind things because things are not happening quick enough. And a lot of it is because social media has us all so blind with different things. They don't talk about the hard. They don't talk about the struggles. They don't talk about the challenge. They talk about the success. And everybody look at life as, oh, I'm gonna start a business because it's gonna be easy. Everybody else is doing it. Oh, just I'm gonna be able to make that million. Everybody else is making it. But the minute that don't happen, you're folding, you're ready to give up. But when it's your time, it's your time. And what God has for you is going to be for you. So I truly believe that today, that everybody in this room, you're living in your season. You're living in your season. Why? Because you survived your breaking point. You're living in your season because guess what? You're not waking up crying, wondering if that business idea is going to work. You're not waking up crying, wondering if that business plan is going to be able to get you that bank loan. That husband is being more supportive. Those fake friends and family, they seeing things different. That's why I say, it's your time. You know that when things start to align, when you start hearing people tell you that what you're doing, you're going in the right direction, it's your time. And I truly believe that if you all just continue on holding on, and you continue on praying, you continue on pushing, you continue on, God is going to see you through. It's not about giving up. It's not about giving in. It's not about living somebody else's life. Because we get so caught up in it. Your success is going to always look different from somebody else. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is you. Every day you look in that mirror, you should only be comparing yourself to you. Women, I adore you all. Because I know God got something for each and every one of you. And if you don't remember anything today that I said, just remember this. You got to get up every day. You got to show up every day. You got to give every piece of you every day. And you got to know that whatever is there and whatever is meant is going to happen because it's your time. Trust the process.
That was my love story for you. And I just love how she wrapped up and she said you gotta get up every day and show up. Because I often in my sales training and when I'm mentoring college students, my favorite people say, get up, show them, follow up. Every day, get up, show them, follow up. Right? Why? So it's time. To be here. It's your yes, we need the word. So, the next person we're going to introduce is Ms. Renee Gray, and she's not able to make it today. The other Renee is my cousin, Linda Renee. She's my first brother cousin. So I always say she's my first cousin. And so I'm doing a birthday and having a little person I call family. Yeah, on the stage. I got you. So she's out for last night. But Ms. Renee Gray can't make it today. And I want to tell you guys a little about Dr. Gray before we do the awards. Dr. Gray is a woman of vision. She's an amazing woman. Hopefully I want you to meet her another time. Dr. Gray, if you guys are familiar, is anyone familiar with Black Wall Street? And Master Black Wall Street. 1921, where and there was a community that there were a lot of African Americans owned businesses, strong things, hotels, schools, and everything there on Black Wall Street, and it was burned. And Dr. Renee Gray's vision is so big that she has created here in Houston what we're calling, she's calling the Black Wall Street Initiative. Yes. And so when I had an opportunity to go out to visit, she's purchased a building out Richmond near Beltway 8. She is putting offices in there where people can work from. They may be revitalizing and have opportunities to have office space to work from. She is building community, and she has anything you can think about out there. She's taking over the whole space, right? And I'm a petition for them to change her name. You might get the street name changed. I think the street over there needs to be Dr. Renee Gray. And so I was sharing with her about the breakfast today. She said, you know, you want to do she honors the women. And we said, like, yeah, so I think let's do that. And so she wants to honor some women today, so we have someone that we're going to honor. And she said, you know, she wants to be honor some women of color that have businesses that are in service space. And so we have to be ready that we're going to honor today. Do that. And so she said, she was. Who's just doing the social butterfly? Come on up here.
Of course. I wanted to, before I get started, my name is Sheila Phillips, and I'm the owner and a couple businesses, but definitely representing QEC, Quality Education Committee here in Houston. And what we do is we service veterans and 50 plus on technology training. So we definitely want you and you to actually be a part of that technology training, not just millennials, but anyone that really does not keep up with technology, okay? So if you're not keeping up with technology, we want to make sure that you're trained. Because we saw the pandemic come into play, and we were definitely on the phone with Texas WorkSource, asking us to help them. And because their staff did not have the technology training that was actually needed. So guys, we need to dig in and actually make sure we're connected to technology and that we can actually do the small things like our emails and our websites and our social media so that we can connect and stay connected, guys. So before I go into speaking about Black Wall Street New Generation, I want to say everybody representing Black Wall Street New Generation, please stand up.
Yes.
Awesome, ladies. Dr. Gray rallied us up late last night, didn't he, lady? And told us we needed to be here to represent Black Wall Street New Generation, and we are here. So thank you. We are all here representing her and Black Wall Street New Generation. So, guys, it is a new entity here in Houston. We are, as Ms. Johnson is saying, we are taking it by storm. And if you don't know about us, we want you to Google it and get online and become a part of Black Wall Street New Generation. Okay, so thank you so much. And whatever we can do to help and support, we are here.
I'm gonna need you in photos, you know, about the great college. So the first young lady that we want to honor today, she has an organization called Energy Industry Support International. And it is an organization that fosters the careers and personal development for women and not just women. I think there's a couple of men in her group, a couple of men, right? A couple of men in her group for research and for career advancement and building relationships in that global and diverse and trying to diversify the energy sector. I worked in energy and oil and gas selling to those sectors for many, many years, and a lot of times just being that only woman in the room, right? And that only person looked like me. That is the inspiration behind my red lipstick. Taking focus off everything else. I'm like, oh, you know. And so she started some initiative. She said, this is a career in the industry. she noticed that there was not an organization focused on supporting the support professionals. And instead, I share all the time, we have to get to know our support professionals. Because if we walk into a room, we don't know who, the executive administrator is and things like they run the place. They know everything. And we gotta take the time to build a relationship with them, to shame on us, right? And so a lot of times that sector of people were overlooked. Because of course, in that energy sector, they're focusing a lot on, the males and people that are, doing sales and things of that nature, which they should, sales or moon stars, but no, okay. So, so she started this organization and they do events, they have training, they go on tours, the energy facilities, they're just not talking about being just admin, whatever, but she's filling their minds on why, right? What does this indicator look like? I mean, I've attended a couple of their events, even online webinar where they're educating the women, and they can equal test of that midstream, downstream, upstream, what have you. And I'm trying to remember so that I like, okay, let me remember. But I just think it's a great organization. I've heard women speak about how she's changed and inspired their life, how much more knowledgeable they are, and more equipped they are to go out and be successful in the own space that they're in. And so, the no budget, wanted to introduce and be put on the honor list, Miss Madonna. Yes. Marshall, and I actually met Madonna in Korea.
Okay, so she put me on the spot a little bit now. I didn't know I was gonna have to say anything, but one of the things I wish I had more of was Joyce's confidence. I love how dynamic she is. I am definitely the behind the scenes person, if y'all can't tell. Love sitting back over in the corner and saying, okay, let me help you. I don't need to be in front, okay? But starting the organization, like she said, because I didn't see the energy professionals having that opportunity. And if you don't know, most of the assistants in the industry are majority 90-something% women. So they need someone, they need opportunities, they need someone to tell them that they can do better, that they can get in front if they want to. And I was that assistant, but I'm willing to tap in on the shoulder saying, hey, why can't I do this? So I'm just giving that opportunity to be able to do that as well. And we're going almost 10 years. In my career, I became to travel the world, see all the different things, and so I wanted to give them that opportunity too, and have them network across the board. Because if you're not networking, then you're going to be pretty much lost. Our industry goes up and down. You need to know who's working in your industry. So if you need a job, you can call them up and say, hey, help me out. With that being said, I'm not going to talk a whole lot because I wasn't prepared to speak. Let me say that. But I am honored to receive this. And I think you mentioned earlier, you're not thinking about the impact you're making until someone else starts saying it. And then you're like, hey, okay, we're doing pretty good. We're doing okay. But there's so much more to do. And, COVID kind of put us on the back burner a little bit, but now we're going 100% full speed. And we can't wait to take over the world. So thank you very much.
Take over the world. And I didn't listen to her comments because she's shy. She's not going to show up and say, we'll go her. Madonna's amazing. When I reached out to her, she's like, really? And then she didn't realize it was going to happen today. And her income, these was from I'm sure on her this country, and she needed to work for herself, and they were sending money home back to her mother and different things. And she wasn't able to find a job. She was having a hard time. She kind of had, broken English and things of that nature. People, wasn't offering her much. And she said, you know what, she said that I didn't do what I know how to do to make money. So she opened a braid shop called Motherland After Braiding. And she created a space for herself. She's been in the same space over at Scott and OST. She's been there many, many years. I moved to California, came back and had her do my hair. I moved to Miami, came back and did my hair. She did this. She's responsible for all my looks. But she is just an amazing spirit and such a community inside her shop when you're there. And a lot of times we don't recognize those women, right? But she came here from another country. And she had to make a way, so she did. And she said she thought it was going to be temporary until she finished college and things. And then even after she went to university, so went to college and got her degree, there were still just no offers, right? It was still difficult. And when she realized, well, we're doing pretty good here. Like other women, so they do, braiding and weaves and ladies,
Yes.
the whole thing, right? And so, but you can go in there. You know, we are at the hair salons, probably like the men at the shops, but we're at the hair salons. Sometimes we get to talking, having conversations. Every once in a while, somebody might have a meltdown. I've seen many group hugs in her place, right? And so I'm gonna take her award to her, but I did want to talk about her. She has an amazing spirit. She has a young son, and she is. I've seen her pregnant with him and him growing. She's recovered from a lot. She's actually had a child that passed away of SIDS a couple of years ago, and she has an amazing strength about herself. So if you ever get to go by her shop and see her or just say hello, she's a little powerhouse and you never know it. And I told her that we wanted to recognize her today for the things that she does because she gives of herself. She gives to the community. She's involved with her son in the school, and it's just a good place to be in anytime you're in her presence. So I'm going to take that to her. And so our next honoree, you guys had an opportunity to hear from, and you know why we're honoring her for this business, because Kim has not only started her business and learned a way, but she's also now teaching other women. And as she said, because a lot of times we go to people and we ask for information and they say, oh, keep the faith. Yeah, but I need some information. I need a little bit of, you don't have to give me the whole roadmap, just lead me on the right direction, right? And I'm one of those people, if anyone calls me, like Kim said, I'm open. With her Rolodexes anymore. I'm open on my cell phone or whatever I have, and I'm going to make it happen for you, right? And a lot of times we say, what I owe you for that? You don't owe me anything. But when I call you, answer your phone, because I may be calling you to help someone else.
That's right.
And that's how Kim is. Kim is now helping other women to build daycares and build their businesses so that they can have wonderful children because they have wonderful mothers. So without further ado, Ms. Kim Watts.
Thank you. This is, like I say, it's just amazing. I'm grateful, I'm honored, and if you all are looking for childcare, I am in the Fresno area. A lot of people are like, where's Fresno? It's around Sugar Land, Missouri City area. So if you know anyone that's looking for good childcare, we're definitely over there teaching. And even while I was speaking, I just wanted to say this, y'all. I wanted to say this. Through all my struggles, God allowed me to be in business now for 10 years, and I have built over $1 million business.
Come on now.
Y'all can't tell me what God can't do.
Yes, he will.
Y'all keep it safe. I went from fear to faith. I did.
She have it out there for fear to faith. Absolutely. So now we're going to move to our panel. Yes. And so, we'll pull these up here. We have our panelists. So you guys know for Women's International Day this year, on March 8th, which is my birthday, thank God for birthday. We got nothing to come, so you're on my I was over, I'm hanging out with some friends, we went to this lounge on a rooftop, and so I took my own cake from Grand Jack, my own cake. And so we had the cake and everything, the music, our versions of these, and then the music wasn't good, the DJ was good, and I said, you don't mind if I DJ? I was like, I can do it with my Apple Music. The guy was afraid, and he said, you gotta go there. So I DJed for a couple of hours. It was awesome. Introduce themselves to you as but I'm afraid of Dee and Rahila and Lisa. But for International Day, we should do International Day. The theme was breaking the bias, and this hashtag breaking the bias, and the breaking the bias is women. The breaking the bias of how people treat women, and that little story. And my mom thought he knew it. I'm sorry for that here. And so, but it was breaking the bias. And when you're on Clubhouse, how many people are on Clubhouse? Everybody on Clubhouse. Everybody downloading Clubhouse now. And you and somebody get your phone out, goes to Clubhouse. And so we're on Clubhouse. Rahila and Lisa and I are a member of an organization called In Wells. And our founder and engineer at Langley Wells, Jason, is here. Always supporting Jason. And so we were in our room, and we were on Wednesdays living on these small business challenges. And I was over to like some fun every week. Every week, just such a sisterhood. No matter how many women we have in there. So we brought up the breaking the bias, and we started talking about that. It was such a great conversation. I was like, we gotta include that as a panel discussion. When we have to live entrepreneurship. Okay. So there's a specific reason that these three women were selected for this panel to share their story and talk about their lives because they all experienced the bias. So I'm going to start with probably the love to introduce themselves. I sent everybody an email, have your elevator pitch ready, right? I sent to the person. Yeah, it's all about sales. But anyway, introduce yourself.
I always think that this is going to get easier every time I do it, doesn't my name is Dee Manuel Cloud. I am a two-time breast cancer survivor and the owner of Intentional. Thank you. Not without God. But I'm hard-headed, right? So I had to learn my lesson twice. I had to go through it twice. I am also the owner of Intentional Living Academy, where I help empower high-achieving, ambitious women to go after everything that they want. No more shrinking, right? And so I'm just doing introductions now, right? Yes. That's it. That's me.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rahila Ismail, and I wasn't always a multi-millionaire owner of multiple income properties. In fact, I was the wife of one, mother of three, someone who was shifted from Los Angeles to Karachi and experienced a culture shock with no family, no friends, no network, no nothing, and had to go through a lot of different transitions, including a 7-year career gap before I actually even got a first job. And from that first job, built a business, which then gave me the opportunity to give to my children what I always wanted for myself. And it is such an honor to be here, and I hope that I can share some of my background in psychology and neuroscience, especially related to bias and how we can break the bias.
That just gave me a headache. That made my hair.
You know what I was thinking? I think I sat in the wrong chair. It's been good to start. I'm Lisa Prusak, and I'm appreciative of Joyce inviting me today. So I have leaped out into the world of consulting and partnership with many of the people here in the room and on the panel. And I'm going to call out two gentlemen that are here in support of all the women here and all the women in their lives. And Jason and Bob, if you stand up for just a second, I'd appreciate that. And so it's really special to be able to say that you have people in your lives, many people here, and I know everybody networks, but those two gentlemen really do spend every day making a difference. And so I'm honored to have left the corporate world and to join them in a new adventure on landing big whales, which is the startup company, which everybody who's involved, raise your hands, joins. Yeah, and really our passion and our mission is to help entrepreneurs, business people, whether it's startup, whether you've been doing it for a while, or you're in a corporate space and you need some help with your company. And we like to talk about all those things and use all of our knowledge and skills and everything from the past to help others. And so it's a blessing that I'm really appreciative of, and looking forward to everything in the future. But I'll share everything I have with everyone. We don't keep secrets, so if we can help somebody else be successful, I sure want to do that. So I thank you for having us, and hope we can impart some good stuff. So any questions anyone has, let us know. Thanks.
When we talk about breaking the bias, it really means something different to all of us at any given time, especially when, as women. And when I talk about breaking the bias, I actually wrote a book about it. Right there, No Back Doors for Me. No Back Doors for Me. And that title was based on my mother going to one of her favorite restaurants many years ago when I wasn't even walking yet. And they said, no, gal, go to the back door. And I remember my telling me that story over and over as I was growing up. And so for me, I don't know, in my young mind, what clicked, but for me, at that point, I'm not sitting in the back of buses, I don't sit in the back of the rooms. When I go somewhere, if it's training or whatever, I'm sitting up front, and I'm this Southern church girl, so I'm gonna have my little scarf to put on my knees, and I have my dress on and what have you. But it's about all the biases that I experienced in my corporate American life, and I said, the irony of it is, although I was saying no back doors for me, I kept getting pushed to the back doors through my career. Don't worry, y'all know I'm not them down. I kick them down. Y'all know that about me. So, but anyway, with that said, I would like for each lady to answer the question, what does breaking the bias mean for you?
So, a little bit of background about me. So I have a daughter who is 29 years old and has Down syndrome. And I had her when I was 24. And it's been quite an adventure. She was a gift from God and an answer to a prayer in which I asked for a meaningful life. And so I think everybody in this room understands there are many different types of biases where somebody can look at you, whether you're somebody with a disability, somebody of color, a woman, right? Even from a different socioeconomic background, right? There's many biases for us all, and people make judgments immediately. And I remember she was a beautiful little baby. I mean, just porcelain skin, bright blue eyes, little strawberry blonde. And we'd go out into the community just to go to the grocery store or maybe take a walk somewhere, and people would come up and say, they'd look in the carriage and they'd say, wow, she's so pretty, it's too bad that. Okay? And I'm sure all of us have heard that in one way or another, right? So I tell that story because I think for me, I felt my responsibility to break that bias and to break the bias of mom, and what moms can do was to figure out what she wanted from her life and help her get it. Okay? And say to her, you can be anything you want to be. You want to learn how to tie your shoes by yourself? I don't care if it takes you 100 times. You will tie your shoes. She read at 3 years old. Read, like give me a book and I can read it type. And so she is the most inspirational person. And I wish she was here so you could all be here. But so that role of breaking that bias started when I was very young, and I'm very tenacious and and I just block and tackle, which is what you do as a leader, right? So it's preparing for the future to be a leader. And then you fast forward that, and I helped to start a nonprofit with other parents in Kingwood in 1999, 2000, for supporting children and adults with disabilities and their families. And again, we didn't go out into the community and say, hey, can you give us a bunch of money, and we're gonna go out in the middle of nowhere and build some kind of housing, and we're gonna grow Christmas trees, and and you guys can come visit us once a year and donate money. Nope. We said, well, shoot, let's make a change. Let's go to all of our community leaders, many of you in the room and others, right? And what are we gonna do? We'd like to have our children live and work and worship in their community with their friends and family. Oh my God, well, back in that time, everybody's like, you guys are crazy. So we went to business people like yourselves and said, hey, we would like supported employment, but we don't want you to make a job for somebody with a disability. We want to find a good fit, okay? And so we tried to break the bias that way, and the nonprofit's still in existence today, and I'm happy to report my second born child is the operations manager. And I was the executive director eventually. So those biases come in many forms and many shapes and things like that. And so how to break that and how to, keep going in your career and be a leader, I think is really important. So I think that's the message. I mean, it's really important just to see yourself and what you're capable of, and everyone is served as a leader, and if you can reach out and help lift somebody else up, I hope that story will help you.
For me, I don't like the word break. I'd rather replace it with the word challenge. And what I believe from experience is the bias is not out there. The biggest bias that we have to overcome is the one in our own head. We judge not other people, we judge ourselves. We are the harshest judges. We are the ones who limit ourselves. We are the ones who say, you're not capable, you're not able to do that. You won't be successful. And we blame others for that. And for me, that's what I've come to learn over the years, through a lot of hard knocks, falling down, picking myself up. But this bias that was in my own head was the hardest bias to challenge. And even if the world tells you, you're great, you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're so smart, but you don't believe it, you've got that block here, it doesn't matter what the world says to you. So the biggest challenge for me was to overcome that bias that, first of all, you're not good enough, you're not worthy enough. And I realized from faith, and I'm so happy to hear people talking about faith, that if you are on this planet, if you are alive today, your worth is already established. You don't need to prove it to anybody. Because you are a beautiful creation, you're a miracle of life. And just being here on this planet is proof enough that you are worthy and you have a purpose. And so what I decided to do is to go into the world and just act as if, ignore, like as if I didn't notice if someone was speaking to me in a different tone of voice or was not giving me an opportunity. I acted like the bumblebee. And if you know the bumblebee, scientifically, if you measure the bumblebee's body mass and its wingspan, scientifically, it's impossible for the bumblebee to fly. It's just not possible. But what does the bumblebee do? It flies. So act like the bumblebee. Don't listen to anybody and do what you gotta do. And challenge the bias. First here, so then out there it fixes itself.
Now I see what you meant about being in the lesson. It is. So the original question was, what does breaking the bias mean to you? Correct?
Yes.
All right. I just want to make sure I understand this. For me, breaking the bias means being intentional about taking away the negative connotations and the stigma associated with being a woman of color, and in my case, a woman in the LGBTQ community. And intentionally creating a world where that's celebrated. You're celebrated because you are a woman. You're celebrated because you are a Black woman. You're celebrated because you are a woman of color. You're celebrated because you are in the LGBTQ element. I call it the alphabet mob. Because I know y'all can't say nothing about this, and I don't hear cartoons, right? But I call it the alphabet mob, jokingly. But creating a world where it's celebrated because of the diversity that it brings. That diversity is going to bring in a new set of ideas, a new set of experience. With that comes new growth opportunities, right? And aren't we all here to grow? Right? And I love what, I'm gonna get this right, Rahila. Right, sis? Tequila. I love what she shared about just getting out of your own mind, right? Because mindset is everything, and a lot of times we allow our experiences to shape us, and we have these experiences that have happened, and so now we are shaped by those experiences, and we're braced, right, for the next hit. And a lot of times it's us, like we're making, I like to call it making people serve someone else's time. The person that did the thing to you, now everyone else has to pay for it because we're living in that space in our minds instead of creating new opportunities. Like that happened, I learned from it, let's move forward. And breaking the bias to me means creating a world where everybody is celebrated for the diversity they bring instead of ostracized.
Wow. So maybe I wrote a bumblebee story on share checking board, and the bumblebee flies.
I love it. How about that?
Right, it doesn't know anything different. So, now I wanna ask Dee to share a story that she experienced that where someone's bias against you.
Let me go through my Rolodex. No, I'm kidding. So the latest, and I'm sure it's one of the reasons Joyce called me, because Joyce heard this story before. But when I ventured into business, I was looking for someone to help me with my marketing strategy. And I had everyone telling me, oh, you should call this lady, she's really good. Call this lady, she's really good. And I'm like, okay, so I'm starting following her. I'm going into her rooms on Clubhouse. I'm listening to her speak, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I reach out to her, and I signed up for her webinar, and she and I were going to have a one-on-one call. And so I'm reaching out to her, and she's not really responding to me. And I go, So the thing about Rahila said about faith, right? And one of the things that I have been actively practicing is mindfulness. And mindfulness will allow you to know when something is off, right? You can feel it in your spirit. The spirit will let you know something is off. A lot of times we will dismiss it, but when you are in alignment with spirit, you know when something is off. And I said something is off. And I told my girlfriend, I was like, I really think she's struggling with my sexuality. And she's like, oh no, she's not like that. And I was like, okay. Spirit told me she's struggling with my sexuality. Because I ain't had no conversations with this woman, but I picked up on this. And we get our one-on-one call. And she says, Dee, I gotta tell you, I'm struggling with your sexuality. And I said, yeah, I know that. And she said, I wanna work with you, but I can't have you telling people about your sexuality. I can't have you saying that you're lesbian. I can't have you talking about your wife in my spaces. I run a Christian organization. And I said, well, that's not very Christian, but okay. And I told her, I said, I'm gonna respectfully decline because I can't be in any working situation, any environment. I don't wanna be anywhere where I don't get to show up as my authentic self. Because I'm doing you a disservice, I'm doing me a disservice. I'm not shrinking anymore for anybody, and neither should anybody in this room. No more shrinking. You bring your full authentic self because the quirkiness about you, the things that make you different, you're different for a reason. The Creator created you that way. Your differences are going to make a difference for someone else. And we spend so much time trying to hide the things that are different about us. And I want to invite everybody to just show up as your authentic self because that's the reason you were created that way is to bless somebody else.
You know, I've been really fortunate that I've never faced a bias from people that are not maybe related to me by blood, whether professionally or socially. But I've faced bias from someone who I am related to. And that is a killer. And it's murder when that person is your spouse. It's murder. It literally kills you. And I remember from the beginning, there was a sentence my husband would tell me that anytime I tried to share an idea or to exert my opinion, he would say, "Who do you think you are?" And I didn't know what to answer. Like, I'm Rahila, rhymes with tequila. And so many years I kept hearing that and hearing that and hearing that, and that really sunk into me because this is a person I trust and is supposed to love me, and it's like unconditional, and we're supposed to support and we're supposed to accept. And it just sunk in, and it came to a point where one day he asked me that question again, "Who do you think you are?" And I said, because I'd never spoken up before, I said, "I am a creation of God." And he was just speechless. At first, I spoke up, and then he couldn't counter that. That is the reality. And I think that's the reality each one of us has to accept and embrace. And then there's no bias because we start from inside and we understand that we are all beautiful creations. Thank you.
So we talked about disability and bias there. I told Joyce I would talk about my last role as a CEO in the oil and gas space and what that was like. So the owner of the company that I worked for, the managing partner, and he'd been in business 29 years. And we had met through another networking organization called Vistage. And he said to me, "Hey, I really want you to come and I want you to help me grow my business. And I want to take it from where it is now. And I want to be, they're a global manufacturing company, but I want to reach more people and I want to get, I want to kind of change what we're doing. And I think you can help me." And I said, "Sure." And he said, I want to just celebrate your success and I can't wait to watch everything that'll happen." And I said, "Oh, that sounds fun. Let's do that." And I was, I guess, a little naive because I didn't think about, okay, I'm going to be a CEO of a manufacturing company in the oil and gas space. Wonder what that's going to be. I didn't think about that because I was excited to have an opportunity to grow a company and build a team and expand and so on and so forth. It never occurred to me, oh, I'm a woman that is going to, yeah. So you start, just saying, you start going to events and you realize you're the only woman in the room. Okay, and you're not the secretary, which people think you are. And they come up and ask you all kinds of stuff about the event and everything, like, you know. And then I would answer them. You know, because I would figure it out. And I think it's this answer or whatever, but it was kind of funny, so I just laughed. And then, you know, also transitioning, I wasn't a chemist, so I had to become a chemist. So I was telling Joyce, I said, you know, you bring with you some gifts and some things, and like I said before, you know, that you want to share with people, but then you also have to be a good listener, and you have to be willing to learn from others, and you have to say, well, okay, I don't know everything. I mean, I can help build a business, and we can expand the foundation, and we can do all the foundational, organizational things you're supposed to do. But, oh yeah, I didn't think about the fact that there was a leader that was unusual. And so I began listening, and one of my gifts is, you know, input and learning. So began listening and learning from the other people and the chemists and so on. And about 6 weeks in, we went to an event, and I was talking about, well, you know, and the methods and this and chemistry and, you know, our instruments and the things we do and so on and so forth. And somebody looked at me and said, how long have you been in the industry? And I said, well, about 6 weeks. And they go, no, I don't mean how long have you been at DCG, I mean how long have you been in the chemical industry? I said 6 weeks, you know. And so what I tried to do is I tried to just learn everything I could learn from my colleagues, and then offer it to others and really make a difference in the community. And I think I was successful at that, even though I was a woman. And so then the last event that we had before I transitioned out in November, big event, Gulf Coast Conference down in Galveston. And it was a neat day because we had nobody been out since COVID. It was our first, you know, time out. And we had our booth and everything. And I was standing there with my global technical director of sales. And people were coming up to us and they were seeking us out. And by the way, I'm still a woman. And they were seeking us out to ask us questions and seeking me out to say, hey, do you know, can you introduce me to this person? Can I introduce you? And what do you think about this? And I thought, at that moment, I thought to myself, huh, this is cool, you know? But it never occurred to me before that moment, the 4.5 years of learning, and it's okay. And now I think, you know, I don't know if this is it, you made it. Right? You got accepted, but you didn't do it in a way that you asked for acceptance. You just worked really hard and tried to figure it out, be a good person and good leader and everything like that. So that was the moment for me. And I was like, huh. And then a month later, I said, you know, I think I'm going to go out and do this just with everything. And I'm going to leave my job. And I don't have another job to go to. Who does that? Right? I'm not a risk taker. I told Jason the other day, and he looked at me like, really? You left a job without another job? Well, you know, except for that. But yeah, exactly. So it's, you know, it's exciting. But I think you guys' message is it's like, be yourself, believe in yourself, surround yourself with good people who support you and love you and want to see your success, and then you want to see that back for someone else. And so whether we're talking about our children with disabilities, our children in general, you know, whatever we're talking about, I think the lesson for me in the you know, time that I've had with my kids and with Carly, my daughter, is just look for the opportunities and the possibilities, and what do you want to do, and let's figure out how to get you there. And that's what I've learned, right? People help me to do that in many different ways, and so I just want to bring that out in the universe. So that, I guess that's my lesson, Joyce.
Thank you for sharing, ladies. And that's perfect segue to our last question that I sent you guys, because you basically said, she just did the work, right? And I feel like sometimes you just gotta put your head down and work, right? And just look up every once in a while, we should be looking. Right? See the red lipstick. But sometimes you just have to get out there and work and just do the work, right? Because we know that we know we can do it. And yeah, I'll leave and tell another state that things. There you go. I am going to say. My mom is shaking her head. She's like, yeah, that she get that call. About 30 days. No. Okay. See ya. But yeah, so this, right? And really, just, for all of us, just teamwork, we all are workers. What that last one, that question that we had for today was, what can we do to create the change that we want to see? Maybe some tips on a number. He has a lot of them for us, but I'm going to have you go last on this one because I know you got some good stuff. I've heard it. But Lisa, what can we do? I know you said just to keep working, but
So, change, right?
yes,
So,
how can we create the change we're looking for? How can we
okay,
help?
so,
Let's help us.
so I like to talk about you'd like to be on the square. So everybody, you think about your path, and then you can kind of get on the square, and you identify the square. Well, I am somebody's wife or mother or son or daughter, niece, nephew, etc. And I do this, and this is my job, and these are the things that I enjoy. And this is what happens on the square. I wake up every morning, and I go here and I go there. But I can identify, even if I don't like the square, I still understand it. I've defined it. It's there. Maybe I don't like it, and I want to move, and I've got 3 different paths in front of me, but I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, and I just don't know. And so in change management, right, the pain to stay the same, to stand on the square, has to be greater than the pain to change. Think about that for a minute, because we all say, oh, just change. Really? Anybody try to stop smoking? Right? Okay. It's tough, right? Very difficult to change. And so first we say, okay, is it more painful to stay here, to stay in this space, to stay on the square, to stay where I'm at, in a relationship, in a job, in whatever it is? Because it's scary to step out into the next whatever it is, because it's not fully defined. Maybe we're like, well, it's a job and it's gonna have a job description, or it's a relationship and I'm gonna understand that, or whatever, but I can't see the future. I don't have a crystal ball or a magic wand, right? And so it's gotta be painful to stay where you are, to make you take that scary step, whatever it is, right? So that's one thing to recognize. And then the second thing to recognize is who in your life that's around you can you reach out to and say, hey, Raheel, what should I do about this, right? Raheel and I have known each other more on Zoom, right, than face-to-face, even though we're in the same city, because Land of Big Whales, we do a lot of our, because we have people globally that are in our rooms and in our organization. And so we're on an executive team, and so we collaborate, but on Zoom. And so we were excited to be here today, but we both looked at each other and said, oh my gosh, there's so much that I would like to ask you, and so much I can learn from you, and vice versa, and everything like that. So surround yourself with people, and these 2 guys in the back that I called up before, and Miss Joy, and all my new friends, and say, not only what can I offer to everyone else, you have to be willing to offer that, give more than you take. But think, who can I surround myself with where I can go and say, hey, can I be off the record? And I just need to ask this question, but I don't want to be public with it, right? Or some trusted advisors or people like that in your life. And then those people are going to be the ones that are going to help you change and grow as a person. But you're going to do the same for them. And so I think that's a good message for that.
I 100% agree. Actually, matter of fact, that's one of the answers that I have is to invite people into your space who are different than you. Like, there is no change in surrounding yourself. There's no growth in surrounding yourself with people who are just like you. Like, there's no expansion in that. So I think one of the things that we can do to cultivate change is to invite people into our space who are different from us. Another thing that we can do is to continue to have conversations like this, right? In open forums that are safe, where they are receptive, respectful, and have open and honest communication. Communication rules the nation. Like, there's absolutely nothing we can do without communication. So I think we have to continue to have these kinds of discussions. And lastly, I am a champion for showing up as your 100% authentic self. No more being uncomfortable to make other people comfortable, right? Like, there is no growth in that. And so the only way to break the bias is to show up as your authentic self. No more being uncomfortable to make other people comfortable. No more shrinking. They have a problem, it's a them problem. It's not a you problem.
I mean, these both ladies, they've given such valuable tips and strategies. So I'm going to take it a little from a psychology and neuroscience perspective. In my 20 years in corporate and been blessed to work with some of the biggest names in the corporate world, Fortune 500 companies, I've done a lot of executive coaching. And I often get two people working in the same company, working for the same boss. One person will say, oh, my boss is brilliant, he's like an angel, he's, you know, the best boss ever. The other person's gonna say, he's like the devil, right? Like, why me? How did I end up with this guy? And the boss is the same man, right? Something's going on here. The boss is the same person. It's not like a different boss. It's not his doppelganger, his evil twin. No, not at all. So what's going on? Well, what happens is we all show up in life. We have to show up. But ask yourself, how are you showing up? You don't know this because you can't see yourself. But other people who are facing you can see you. And the first thing they do in the first 7 seconds of seeing you is they read the label that you have plastered on your forehead. They read it right away. And that label tells people, you can talk to me like this, because I'll take it. You can treat me like this, because I'll ignore it. We teach other people how to interact with us. We teach them. We need to change the lesson. We need to change the lesson. Because when you change the lesson, the students will follow. They might not like it in the beginning because
I just said that.
we don't like change, right? You've taught me to treat you like this for so long, and I'm used to it. I'm in my comfort zone, and now you want me to change? So expect them to not like it. It's nothing new. If they like it, something's wrong. Okay? Expect them to not like it. Expect them to resist it. But you keep going through the pain. You keep going through. You got to give birth to that new label and let it take its effect on the people around you. So ask yourself, what does my label tell people? How they can treat me, how they can talk to me, because the problem, like I said earlier, it's not out there. It's never out there. It's never out there. It's right here.
Thank you, ladies. Give them another hand. I hope you guys hear it and have some nuggets on it. You know, I coach a lot of college students, I mentor a lot of college students, and I always ask my college students, when was the first time someone was biased against you? And they all write it down. You know, I have like where they can send the questions, and I'll see them as they're coming on the screen and things. And then I go back and I say, when was the first time you were biased against someone else? And I've had so many of them, then they start sending me those personal notes, they're no longer on the screen, right? You know, Professor Johnson, yes, you know, this happened, and you know, I feel so bad, should I go talk to this person? No, sweetie, just don't do it again, you know, but the breaking of ice conversation is so important. And so not only do I encourage you guys to not allow someone else to treat you differently, but be cautious in our thoughts and how we treat other people as well. right? And reach out and build that community. Anyone close to me know that I have this thing that annoys me, and I call it segregated Sunday. There, let's say it, every first time. Segregated Sunday. Because we want inclusion and diversity in our workplace and in our organizations and the things we do. And then on Sunday morning, we just all go somewhere else. Where a whole bunch of people look like us, be comfortable, and what have you. And so if I could ever encourage anything, I encourage you to go visit some churches. Remember, we used to do that when we were growing up, right? Go visit different churches and things and organizations, because I truly believe, my big mama used to say all the time, family that prays together stays together. And if you're going to be a family as a community and a nation, you have to then pray together and break that bias.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is a free and shield.
One more time, kind of ready that too. Perfect. Thank you. One more time.
Did you make sure? I need some help. Gosh. So, it's time for our keynote. Yes. Time for our keynote, because it's our time. Everybody say it's our time. It's our time. I want you guys to go hashtag that. It's our time. It's our time. Tag Y Sales Network, tag me and say it's our time. So the young, beautiful lady that we have that's going to come up here as our keynote, she grew up in Mexico and moved to Houston when she was 7, and she's been a part of this community. She says she married young at 18, and her husband and her kids are a joy. And as I was saying about with Kim, kids are great. Sometimes they aren't great when they have great parents, but she's having a great. And another lady is her spirit just shines through. Her spirit shines through. She went to college here locally and studied her associate degree, and then she's been working to accomplish the bachelor degree as well. She is passionate about putting people to work. Her nickname is Sunshine, or she goes by the name Sunshine, and so we see the sunshine all over her in this sunshine. And she's passionate about putting people to work, and she owns a company, Sunshine Personnel Solutions, where she's able to put people to work who are in those fields that we need so importantly, because my AC was broken, I have to call for people. But in those work fields and electricians and HVAC and other areas, she's very passionate in the community and the work that she does. She is so heavily networked. I didn't share this story with you. Someone sent me a text a few days ago, and they said, "Oh, you need to meet this woman. You need to find out who she is." I was like, "Yeah, I know her. She's a keynote." They were like, "Oh." And so, but I haven't known her long, and it's Karina introduced us, and it's been a blessing to know her, just to be in her energy. We were at an event last night where everyone knew her, and she was the light of the event. But we needed someone, we said we wanted someone to really close us out and to, leave us inspired to go forth. And if we talk about women in entrepreneurship, this woman has been in business over 10 years herself also. She's passionate about putting people to work, about developing people and helping them to be their best selves. And so I wanted her, Kareem thought she'd be great, and I agreed to come and close us out today as a keynote, Miss Maribel Rodriguez.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today. Who was your honor down today? I was. My name is Mary Rodriguez. 99% of the people do not know my real name. I go by Sunshine. Sunshine became Sunshine years ago when I was working for a staffing company. And I started placing people for employment, and there was a gentleman that called me about 100 times, within an hour. And he was actually incarcerated for many years, and he was in a halfway house. When I went to the halfway house, after, recruiting him and, being able to place him for employment, he stated I was sunshine to them. So they started calling me like sunshine. And the reason was because a lot of people have been in prison many years and they did not see the daylight. They were incarcerated for many years, and once you get to a halfway house, you're not able to go out there until there's a progress document, and you have to, let your probation officer, where you're going. And some of those people still have the ankle bracelet. So it's very hard. So that's where my name came years ago. With that being said, I became the owner of Sunshine Personnel Solutions. And I have been blessed to be able to bless many people with employment opportunities, from an office professional to an engineer, oil and gas. So I opened up my business in 2014. In 2014, the oil and gas declined. It started going down. Everyone knows who wasn't here in the oil and gas. Okay, so I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to close my business. I've only been in business for a few months. What I started doing, I started diversifying, learning about different industries. And I was very blessed to be able to learn about different industries, the SBA, attending workshops, and learning about who I was able to connect with. When I first, who knows Dress for Success? I am a member. I lost my job back like in 2010, and that's when I became a member. Well, we had a lot of speakers out there. And there was one day when I told the young lady, I said, you know what, I lost my job, but I'm very interested in continuing being a member here at Dress for Success. They had a Latino style magazine event. They sent me out there, and I went, and I love sitting at the front. Why? Because I'm able to pay attention, I'm focused. If I sit in the back, I might miss an important note from the speaker. And I love taking notes, so I went. There was 4 young ladies, and I'm a cheerleader for all females. I'm the biggest cheerleader for the women. And so there was 4 young ladies talking about opportunity. The opportunity for you to be successful, the opportunity for you to start a company, a startup company. And back then, I was very shy. Oh my God, I would pass out. Just standing in front of a podium, even at a high school or in college, giving a report, I thought I was gonna pass out. I would tell my friends, please, y'all, prepare the wheelbarrow to carry me out. I would sweat, I would blush, and that was not me. I couldn't hold a microphone, but when I went out there to that panel, I seen those 4 ladies talking about the opportunity, and all I seen was opportunity on top of money. And I was like, you know what? I have so much ability, so much skills, so much that I can give. I need to put my shyness aside. That day, that's when I lost my shyness. Because I have a family. I wanted to provide for my family. I had lost my job for not signing a non-compete after being 4 years for working for a staffing company. And I'm like, there's so much opportunity. A lot of times when you're shy, you think, oh my God, they're gonna be looking at my pimple, my hair, one of my nails broken, and they're not gonna be focused. No, people focus when you have something important to say. And I've learned from Dress for Success, all the speakers, they motivated me. I would see the way they were walking there, looking fabulous, like a multi-millionaire person. You don't have to go out there and buy expensive clothes to look and, shine. You could diversify your clothing with different accessories. Put your hair up, different earrings. No one will notice. It's you. You are your brand, your own brand. So when I started communicating, I opened up That same day, with the young lady, I opened up, my bank account. I had no money in the account, but they were able to do that. And this is so important for you to attend those panels. You never know who you're going to meet and who can help you. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of resources out there. I opened up my account and that motivated me more, to be able to be a business owner. From that day, I met the city of Houston. The city of Houston was out there. And they gave me a document where I needed to fill out, to give my information. And they said, well, we're gonna call you. I didn't think they were gonna call me. I'm like, oh my God, all these people are filling out this application, they're not gonna call me. Well, that gentleman called me. He's the one that guided me on the protocol, on the SBA, the workshops, everything for startup companies. And so I started attending. I started getting my certifications. I have all my certifications now, thank God for that. From Hub, with the City of Houston, DPA. I now am partnered up with the Port of Houston, with Metro, with the City of Houston. And I wanted to expand in business by partnering up with amazing companies. But who has never done cold calling, or who has done cold calling? You get put on hold. They tell you they're gonna call you back. Well, I did that when I started my business, and I was put more on hold than I was able to talk to people. And I was like, okay, this is not working for me because I don't have patience. I'm someone that does not have patience. I can't sit still behind camera on Zoom. So I started asking myself, I want to connect with people. I'm a people's person. So I started networking. I started going to every event, whether I was paying or not. And I started seeing that networking was bringing my business, not the cold calling. I said, forget about the cold calling. I was introducing my brand myself. So the first few months, I'm like, I have to start my own group. I have to bring people because I was paying a lot of money for exhibitor booths. Who in here pays for exhibitor booths to showcase your business? They charge a lot. Sometimes it's 100, 500, 1,000. I was in the Houston Hispanic Chamber. I think I paid like $5,000 to have a table out there for one day, and it was probably about, I want to say 6 hours. I'm not even sure. I met some amazing people. Did I get business? No. I didn't get no business, but that didn't stop me. I continued having exhibitor booths at different locations. What I was doing, I was being visible. I was building my credibility. Till this day, I still have exhibitor booths at different locations. But during the time that I opened up, that I was doing networking, I decided to open up my own networking. I was like, if I'm paying $100 or $200 or even $5,000 to an Hispanic chamber, I can bring people to my table. I started creating events at my office. I was like, well, we're doing direct ribbon cutting. I'm opening one of the locations. I have people there applauding and being my cheerleaders, and I was showcasing my business. Every month, I was very consistent. I was very consistent in, inviting people. And while I was going to events, I was always introducing myself as, well, I'm the owner of a staffing company, and I go by Sunshine. Every company that I was meeting was marketing. I didn't know what marketing was at the beginning. So I'm like, oh my God, I told my employee, is there any other industry that I can be besides marketing? I don't even know what marketing is. And I continued going, well, I wanted, I loved reading, and I went back to my office and I started reading about marketing, and came to find out it was branding, marketing, showcasing your business. And I'm like, that's exactly what I'm already doing. I didn't even know that was marketing. Well, throughout the time that I started building my networking group, more people started coming. I started joining more like BNIs, chambers, organizations, where I was telling them, hey guys, I have my own event and it's free to attend. I didn't want to charge because I was only spending about 100 to 200 for breakfast, light breakfast. It wasn't a buffet, but it was light breakfast. And I'm like, if I can pay a chamber, I can pay for my own food to bring to the table. Well, now it has been 8 years since I have my own Sunshine networking group every month. It's amazing. I get so many people from Houston, from the surroundings of Houston. People have driven an hour and a half just to get to my events. We do this every month. It was a while back that COVID hit. During COVID, a lot of people panicked. Some of us did not know the technology very well, and I'm including myself because I was able to learn more. But I had already implemented programs for my business during the time, during the journey of time that I have been in business. So I already have programs in place. We continue being in business. We had 8 offices, including my home office, before COVID. Now I'm downsized to 3 offices because I was able to do more with less offices and more employment opportunities and more growth in my business. With that being said, technology. A lot of people had to shut down because they didn't know the protocol. They didn't even have Facebook. They didn't have the social media. They were not social media savvy. And there was no one there to help. There's a lot of people that won't help, but there's people that will help. I love collaborating with the community. I love helping people. We help people from someone being homeless to someone being a multimillionaire. So it's different people, different terminology, different communication skills that we have to learn to be able to communicate with each individual. I used to be very shy. I became a motivational speaker. I speak at different platforms, from a shelter, people being with domestic violence, being beaten, being incarcerated for many years, or a halfway house versus a startup company, or a career center, whether it's elementary, high school, middle school. So all they have to tell me is like, Sunshine, can you come and speak? They give me the details and I'm there. Don't overpromise. That's one thing. You have to build your brand by being trustworthy, by being honest, have integrity. Don't overpromise, overcommit, and don't undervalue yourself. There's a lot of companies out there that will ask, well, you're a little bit high, you're pricey. Can you lower? No, absolutely not. We work hard every day for what we do. Each of us has a different service. Each of us has different, we all are blessed with different talents and different skills. Diversify. If something doesn't work, look to see what's your passion. You have to have a passion for what you do. There's no way I'm gonna go and put somebody's eyelashes when I don't have no skills in. I better put my own. Look to see what's your passion. Are you a people's person? Are you more like, you more reserved? Learn to see who your target market is. Who do you want to target? Who do you want to bring to as a client? When I started with the oil. Coca-Cola was my first client. I started putting merchandisers. Then I went to the oil and gas field, in the pipeline. And of course, I hate construction. And that's one of my biggest industries. I'm in the construction field. And a lot of times I have to go out there in the field. I have to diversify the way I dress, from wearing high heels as a young lady, or mini skirts dresses because I'm very feminine. But I go from wearing high heels to wearing a hard hat and steel toe boots. And I have that in, wearing a vest, having to approve, I hate heights. But if they ask me, hey, can you go up there? Yes, I can. That's part of my business. And they don't have to know how scared I am of heights, but you know what? I'm gonna get to that peak at the top. Because you know what? If you don't, somebody else will. And guess what? We need our business to keep growing. During the pandemic, there's a lot of people that took advantage of every single penny that they were providing, giving. And guess what? There was shortage of labor. Nobody wanted to work. And who helped us? We needed to continue our business. You know, there was not much unless, you know, you got a grant or, you know, a loan, but we were in debt, correct?
Yep.
So we're still shortage of labor out there. Not everyone wants to work. They got too comfortable at home. And just build your brand by continuing being visible out there, y'all. It's very, very important. Like I said, you don't have to dress like a millionaire. Just diversify with what you have. On another note, the attitude, body language. That has to do a lot. I cannot deal with attitudes. I just can't. It doesn't matter if it's a candidate looking for an employment or an employee looking for their check. Or an employer looking for candidates that they want you to throw them like hot potatoes. No, I just cannot deal with attitude. So if you can't deal with attitude, respect others. Treat people the way you want to be treated. I always share this with the world. If you hang out with four broke people that are always complaining, they never have money, you're trying to go to a restaurant, but then you have to pay for them, and they're just broke, and they're so negative, guess what? You're going to be the fifth person complaining. The fifth one complaining, the fifth one that's going to be broke, you're going to be asking someone else. We don't want that. If you hang out with four successful people, they're always on the go, hey, let's go to the next round, let's get on the next plane so we can go on vacation, let's do this, you will be the fifth successful person. Hang out with people that are knowledgeable, that know more than you, or that you can take those golden nuggets. It is so beautiful to learn from each other and to be able to build your success within the group that you're with. I created a women's group. I have amazing women, from someone, an attorney, to a divorce coach. I didn't even know a divorce coach existed. If I would have considered to get divorced, guess what? I would have went to the attorney instead of a divorce coach. A divorce coach is part of my women's group, and I'm using this as an example. If you don't know all the industries that are out there, we have amazing people. So just build those connections, build that branding. I love networking. I'm not a morning person, and thank you, Joyce, for being so patient. I was here on time. I'm going to use this as an example. I'm not a morning person. You invite me to any mixer, any afternoon or during the day, I will show up. In the morning, I will show up, but not so on time. I'm sunshine during the day. Dawn after hours. And midnight after a couple of drinks.
Come on now.
I just love networking and continue networking. Before it was marketing. Marketing was one of the industries that I was always meeting. Now it's real estate. I'm not in real estate, but guess what? I go to all the real estate events. The prosperity, the just all kinds of, you meet amazing people. Build those connections to build those business relationships. Behind those business relationships, there are referrals. I have built my business through so many referrals. I have won multiple awards all across Houston, outside of Houston. I've been on TV, on magazines, on newspapers. I'm a mentor for many people, and I'm one of the biggest cheerleaders for women, but I also admire men. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause. He has become my cheerleader. It has been a challenge because all of us have a challenge, whether it's in a marriage, in a relationship, or in business. I've had all kinds of challenges in business as a Latina, as a woman, because I'm in the male-dominant industry. And there's a lot of men out there that want to control the female, the women, as far as, you know what, no, this is a male industry, and we don't want females working here. No, times have changed. It's our time. but we're very unique and we can bring a lot to the table. Each one of us has a different industry. Learn your competitor. Learn what they're doing. You don't have, it's not about copying or about, oh, I want to be better than them. No, learn about them. Learn and see what they're doing so you can grow your business. Go out there and see what awards are they getting. What award can you get? I'm being nominated to get an award in Dallas, in Fort Worth. That's outside of the city because I do provide a lot out of the city personnel and out of the state. But that's how you build your business, by being visible. Whether it's physical or on social media. How many more minutes do I have? I respect everybody's time. Okay. Social media, connect with people. But don't just add Billy Joe or Joanne. Like their stuff, share their stuff, make a comment. I always look to see who's commenting out there. Because I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I want you on my team. I want you to be on my LinkedIn. I want you to be on my social media. Like their stuff, share their stuff, connect with them. Have a one-to-one. That one-to-one can grow so much behind that. You get to know them about their business, about their lives, who they know, and that's how you continue. I have brought so many people to my networking. It's unbelievable how many people have done business. At my networking, and everyone's invited, I would like to get everyone's business card so I can add you to our newsletter. We have an amazing newsletter. Someone said, I think it was you, Kim, or one of the young ladies, that not everyone shares information, not everyone gives you information. Well, guess what? On my newsletter, it's amazing information. It's not just about Sunshine's info or about Sunshine staffing. I'm part of many different organizations, different chambers. I collaborate. I love helping. Once again, I put everything on one newsletter, all the networking events. Everything that happens in Houston, amazing networking opportunities, whether it's on Zoom or whether it's physical. Take advantage of those opportunities once you get my newsletter. Share that with other colleagues. All my events are free to attend. Y'all are welcome to attend once a month. We have the women's group once a month. It's on our newsletter. We have a lot of stuff from the city of Houston. The city of Houston has partnered up with us, which they attend every month to our networking events. We will be having upcoming workshops where people will have the opportunity to do bidding in the construction, bidding in different fields, learning about having a LinkedIn, social media, marketing. So I would love for y'all to look into that and see what workshops would benefit. The workshops that I will be providing, they are free. And my breakfast, my once a month breakfast is free as well. And I would love to see y'all out there. So I hope y'all enjoyed the tips that I did give y'all today. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to contact me.
I love Gabrielle's husband. I call him the first name. He's amazing. I was asking, I said, what do you do? He said, I drive her around. I make sure she eats. I just love him. Thank you for coming. As we said about the church, hope something's been said or done to inspire y'all today. I'm sorry, don't hope my mom doesn't see. But, oh, my aunt's here. But anyway, seriously, thank you guys so much for coming today. I really appreciate you guys.
I want to be the one that speaks up just when the bell is getting ready to ring.
Yes.
So don't get mad at me. I'm the chief of staff for Black Wall Street New Generation. And Dr. Renee, if anyone knows Dr. Renee, she's a phenomenal woman.
Yes.
She's a powerhouse. If you don't know what the goal is, she's the greatest of all time. That is out there, and so we call her the GOAT. She's the founder and president of Helping Hands to the Community. They're feeding the families out on Wednesdays. She has all kinds of stuff that goes off in the community. Now, she texts me, she has no problem stopping I'll let you know, I'm not doing this on my own. I'm doing this because I'm the chief of staff and I'm supposed to do this. Stop the program. April the 16th, I just got this, so I'm not doing this. I'm not holding you guys up. April the 16th, Black Wall Street, we're having our grand opening for our mall. We have the first Black-owned mall here at 9275. So in this mall, we have almost 150 vendors. So if you guys want to shop, we have a lounge. If you want to come out and somebody talk about, I called it a hookah bar, but they told me I'm not going to tell my age. I'm looking around. I'm probably one of the oldest ones in here. But the hookah bar. Okay, they have a hookah bar.
My.
If you want to come in and do some poetry, we have the poetry. We're going to have a comedy night. I think it's Monday nights. That's the comedy nights. We have the poetry. If you guys know poets, you know someone to come in. We have a club. I'm telling you, it's going to be going down at night. So write that down and let her know that I did tell you when we get back. My name is Janice Wright, of Black Wall Street New Generation. We want you guys to come on down and move up with us.
You can email and text that out as flyer. Everyone in the room, and anyone that wants to come out as well.
Yes, I mentioned earlier, Dr. Renee's doing, Renee Grace doing amazing things, and I think they should name that street over there, just rename that street as Dr. Renee Gray. You know, or maybe the Letters for New Generation or something like that. We'll have to work on that, you know, make sure that happens in the community. But, you know, with said, thank you guys so much for coming. Again, hope something was said to inspire you. As I said, this year, the theme for Y Cells Network is, it's our time, ladies. Want to again thank all the men in the room who came out and support us. Bob is the guy that's on my social media that I had say Glow and Grow, because that's another part of the women entrepreneurship. That he said we invite the men to help us glow and grow.
Come on.
Yeah. So thank you, men, for coming out to help us glow and grow. Appreciate you.
Can we connect with everyone in the room through LinkedIn? There's a way that you can turn on LinkedIn Find Nearby.
Here, come up and tell everyone how to do it.
Oh, okay. So
They took that off.
I thought it was off last time we tried, like the last
I think they took that off.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or if you
But
don't
people
have
can scan it.
Yeah.
But you
If
can
don't have a
scan.
business card, if you can open up your LinkedIn and go to the search bar, right on the right, there's a QR code symbol, tap that, and it's gonna open up your QR code. And then you can just go around the room and scan everyone's QR code, and then we can connect, right?
I don't know.
What's the Wi-Fi here, Joyce?
So I will show you guys. So when you go into your LinkedIn and your app and your top, my connection isn't working well, but you're able to scan. And YB is here. He's Mr. LinkedIn. So you can see this man too, and he'll help you get it done. Okay?
Thank you.
But all right, but we can take care of that. Again, thank you guys for coming. Hope you've had an amazing time. Remember to break the bias, not only about changing people how they treat you, but also how you treat others. And as I always say, make it a great day. Thank you.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Back to work, kind of see.